fake because none of it's...
Two subjects fascinate retired physician Dr. Robert Slauson: history and medicine. Medical history is a particular interest, especially contributions by African Americans. In his research, Slauson found that a handful of black men served as doctors in the Civil War, something he writes about in his book, Prologue to Change: African Americans in Medicine in the Civil War. When President Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves in 1863, nearly 200,000 blacks joined the Union Army.
Of the physicians we've identified as serving with the Army, 3 of them were commissioned officers. The other 9 were contract surgeons. The things they were doing as doctors, mostly it was taking care of disease anyhow. You know, they would do examinations, they would take care of the people with the sick, give medicines.
Dr. Alexander T. Augusta was a veteran of the American Civil War and the first commissioned black officer in the U.S. Army. He's also the first black officer to be buried here in Arlington National Cemetery. Born to free parents in Norfolk, Virginia, Alexander Augusta learned to read, even though it was illegal and dangerous. His dream of becoming a doctor in the 1800s seemed almost impossible, and the University of Pennsylvania denied his application to medical school. Augusta would not give up and traveled to Canada, enrolling at Toronto's Trinity College, where in 6 years he received a degree in medicine.
It's hard for me to even imagine the challenges that they had faced, because it had to be magnitudes harder than what those of us who are black doctors now went through.
Dr. Michelle Gourdine is a physician, author, and expert in preventative health and wellness. She says the hardships faced by black medical professionals before her serve a great encouragement and example to her and other blacks.
On top of it being a very difficult and challenging subject matter to have to understand, but to do that in an atmosphere where you were considered less than, where you were considered to be second rate or second tier, where you did not have all of the resources that you need in order to succeed, and then to be able to achieve anyway.
In 1862, after returning to the U.S., Augusta wrote a direct appeal to President Lincoln, offering his services as a surgeon in the Army. After many roadblocks, he earned a commission in the Union Army. Time in the Army was difficult, both on and off the battlefield. Most black surgeons in the war worked in military hospitals or recruiting stations because many white surgeons refused to serve alongside or under their command on the battlefield.
He had 2 assistant surgeons in the regiment with him, and they were white, and they rebelled, obviously. The senior assistant surgeon said, you know, it's not right. There's no other white man working for a black man, and I shouldn't have to do it either.
Dr. John Van Serle de Grasse of Massachusetts was one exception. He and other black doctors in the Civil War were of mixed race and could easily pass as white. After volunteering in May 1863, de Grasse received a commission as assistant surgeon with the 35th United States Colored Infantry, one of only 3 African-American physicians to do so. He was the only black surgeon to serve in the field with his South Carolina regiment, and one of only 8 to serve in the Union Medical Corps. Unfortunately, little is written in the history books about these African-American physicians and their service to our country.
The powers that be decided that the acceptable physicians were white men. So a lot of the information on a lot of these people, the African-Americans as well as the women, early women physicians, is just people chose not to record it.
After the war, Dr. Alexander Augusta went on to serve on the staff at Howard University. As for Dr. de Grasse, he was presented with the ceremonial surgeon's sword in appreciation for his service. Slauson is doing what he can to tell the stories of these physicians, each of whom deserves a place in history as forerunners of the modern world.
I thought they were heroes. These were people who knew what they wanted and they went after it, and they wanted to serve in the best way that they could. And they were trained as physicians, and that was the best service they could give. And I don't see a difference.
Charlene Israel, CBN News, Columbia, Maryland.